Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Dig In with Dad. Today we're going to be making ribs, and we're going to be making them on the barbecue today, but you can make them in the oven, in the crock pot, or really wherever else you got here, but we'll give instructions on how to do it in an oven as well. What we've got here just to start with is we have pork back ribs, and I like to use back ribs, just I feel like they got a little bit more meat on them than side ribs, but you can use whatever you like. So we've taken them out of the package, rinsed them off, patted them dry with some paper towel, and this is really easy what we're going to do here. All we're going to do is we're going to take the silver skin off the back, and we'll show you how to do that. We're going to put a little rub on them, then you're going to throw them on the barbecue. And the key with ribs is low and slow, right? Lots of patience. We're going to cook these for a good few hours at a low temperature, about 250 degrees. And that's about it, really. So let's get into it. Like I said, we've already dried these off, so we're just going to flip them around. Silver skin is going to be on the back side of your ribs. Right? And you can see we've got a little bit of extra fat here. So what I like to do is I'll use a paper towel. Helps me kind of get a grip because sometimes it's a little bit slippery. And just a butter knife, right? Just kind of get in there and get it started. All right. So we stick our butter knife kind of underneath here, and you can see this little bit here that's pulling away. So if you use a paper towel, you can kind of start to pull it. And there's some more coming off there. And the reason why you want to take this off is kind of twofold. Number one is when you bite into your rib, you know, when we're all done cooking, sometimes you'll get like this, like a film almost on the back of the ribs. And that's what this is if you don't take it off. So we want to get rid of that. And also, it's just one less membrane for your rub, for your sauce, for whatever you're kind of using to kind of have to go through. So if we can eliminate that, you know, more the better, right? Let's try this other one here. Okay. So once we've got our silver skin pulled off the back, or kind of just skimming off the fat if you got lucky and there wasn't a lot on there, we're going to flip these back over and we're going to put our rub on. So we're actually going to start with a binder. It's just something to help the rub stick to the actual meat, and we're just going to use mustard. Doesn't have to be fancy mustard, just regular yellow mustard. You can use Dijon mustard or something like that if you want. Not necessary. Never gets old. So again, just cover. And then we're just going to kind of rub that in. And don't worry, you won't taste the mustard. At least I don't anyway. Remember to do both the bottoms and the top and the bottom, or the front and the back, whatever you want to call it. You're not going to get a whole lot on that bottom side, but put the effort in. All right. Then what we're doing is we're just putting our rub on. Now we've made a basic rib rub already, and we'll have that recipe down in the description, but it's nothing crazy, right? We're talking about, you know, some salt, some pepper, brown sugar, a little bit of paprika. What else we got in there? Chili powder as well. If you want a little bit of heat, you can also add cayenne pepper, but because we are catering to a younger audience with maybe a more sensitive palate, we're not doing anything spicy. So, pretty basic. Dump it all over your ribs and pat it in. And again, try and get as many or as much of that surface area covered as you can. And just like the mustard, the majority of it's going to go on this top, more meatier side. We will put some on the bottom side, but not a lot is going to stick there, right? There's not a lot of meat, but you still want that flavor to come from every angle that you can. So ho, ho, ho. That almost made the blooper reel. Wonderful. So now we've gone to kind of raw. They almost look cooked, right? They've got that color. There's a lot of the paprika in here. It's going to give it that reddish kind of color. And one of the benefits of cooking it very low, aside from all the breaking down of the connective tissue, is there's a lot of sugar in this rub, right? And you don't want to cook anything on high heat with sugar, otherwise it'll burn. And then your smoke alarm will let you know that it's done. But we're just going to let this sit for a couple minutes. Not a big deal, while we go and get the barbecue ready, or while you turn on the oven and let that preheat. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're outside with the barbecue. We've got it preheated to about 250 degrees. And I should note, we're actually using a temperature controller just to keep the temperature consistent. But if you're doing this in the oven, piece of cake, right? Just set your oven to 250 and we're gonna just throw them on there. So, we're also using a little bit of wood just for some extra flavor. You can go ahead and try throwing wood in your oven. Actually, don't. So, all right, we've got those on. We'll come back in about 2 hours and check them out. Okay, it's been a couple hours. All we're gonna do is just put a little barbecue sauce on these guys. Use a brush, use a spoon, use nothing. Use whatever you want. We just want to get a nice coating of sauce all over everything. And then we're going to let these go for about another hour or so, and we're going to let the sauce and all the sugars in the sauce caramelize on your ribs. And then you're going to have all the neighbors coming by. Hey, what you cooking, neighbor? See you in an hour. Okay, we've sauced for an hour. We've pulled them off the barbecue and we're ready to eat. So we're just gonna chop these up and get into them. But I did want to note, in case you've got a little bit more time, some people also like to, before they put the sauce on, you can wrap your ribs in foil and let them go for another hour or two on there. And then you pull them out of the foil and then sauce them. Entirely a preference thing. We chose not to do it this time and they turned out amazing. So enjoy. Thanks for watching.
Oh my god!